today we're doing lesson 4.6, how much is 10,000? So we've been building numbers. We've been taking digit cards, putting them together, and then making those numbers with base 10 blocks. So to make 23, you would need 2 of these and 3 of these. Correct, Zeralda? 23. 2 of these, 3 of these. Then to make 423, we would add on 4 of these. So 4 of these, 2 of these, 3 of these. Then to make 1,423, we would need 1 of these, 4 of these, 2 of these, 3 of these. Okay? All right. So we've done that, we've drawn that, and now we are going to go on to page 132. This says, your teacher will give you a set of 10 by 10 grids. We're not going to do the 10 by 10 grids because we're going to use these in our mind. Okay? Use the grids to represent each of the following numbers. So how many of these, Harbor, would it take to make this number? 8. So this is what I want you guys to draw. You're going to draw 1 square and then put times 8. Okay? So it would take 8 of these to make 800, correct? Because each one is 100. How many of these would it take to make 1,000? Evan.
1,000? Wait, no.
How many of these would it take to make 1,000? 10 of them, right? Because to make 800, it takes 8 of them. So 1,000 is the same as 10 of these hundreds, right? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000 is the same as 10 hundredths, okay? So I want you to draw a flat and then put times 10. So let's keep track. Who answered the 8? That was Harbor. And then Evan. Okay. How many of these would it take to make 1,500? Devin?
5?
No.
No, wait, 10.
No. Colton?
15.
15. So if it takes 10 of them to make 1,000, and 500 more than 1,000, you need 5 more. So 15 of them. Okay? So to get up to 1,500, you would need 15 of the hundreds. I have to show you something cool real quick. We're going to pause because on our place value chart, if we want to show 100 hundredths, that's the same as what?
1 whole.
1 whole. Okay? So I have showed you before that we could write 1 here and then a double 0 to say 1 and 0 hundredths. But watch, watch, watch. We can also just ignore the decimal and look at that number. What number is that?
100.
100 hundredths. Now watch, this is cool. So to make 100 hundredths, you have to ignore the decimal place. and just write to say the equivalent to one whole as 100 hundredths, we can do the same thing on this side of the place value chart. So watch what I mean. Okay, this is where it gets cool. Can we skip to the good part? Okay, so Devin, you were just saying, or we were just talking about 1,500, right? Why do we say 1,000 here? Because it's got a comma. Look, Colton. 1,500, right? Harbor, what if instead of saying that 1,000, we just didn't look at the comma? What number do you see right there? Shout it out.
15.
15.
Hundreds.
Hundreds. 1,500. You see it? 1,500 is 15 hundredths. Okay?
I get it.
And so you can replace 2 zeros in the number, in any number, with the word hundreds. So if you're trying to figure out, you guys know our biggest currency, biggest dollar amount is $100, right? They used to, a long time ago, have a $1,000 bill, but they don't have it anymore. So if you're trying to figure out, you got a great big, you go to buy a car, and it's $27,000. And you got a big pile of $100 bills, and you're trying to figure out how many $100 bills to take to the car place. You seeing this in your mind?
Yes.
Okay. So, the car you're trying to buy is $27,000. And you're trying to figure out how many hundreds is in $27,000. Okay? What number is right there?
270.
270.
Hundreds.
So how many $100 bills do you need?
270.
270. What? So the digit that's above hundreds is a 0, and you use everything in front of that, including the 0. You seeing it? Okay. So 270 hundredths. What if you only had $10 bills? How many $10 bills would you need to take?
2,700. 10.
Yes, you getting it? Okay, so this is how why I think place value is so cool. You can rename numbers in different amounts. If you had only $1 bills, it would be 27,000 $1 bills. Yes.
I just call this Oh, I recognize something.
What?
In dollars, the pile gets bigger as this number gets smaller. Like, I've been.
Yeah. You're saying that the amount of dollars you got to take with you gets bigger as the dollar value gets smaller. Yes, that's right. Because it's going to take Zerelda a whole lot more of these to make 27,000 than it is this, right? Okay, all right, so let's keep going. How many hundreds, hands are like, whoa, I got this now. How many hundreds are there in 2,000, Emma? 20, yes. Because we can just replace 2 of those zeros with the word hundred. So 20 hundredths. All right. Now, how many of these would it take to equal 3,000? Devin?
3.
Nope, these are not thousands, they're only hundreds.
10.
So watch, Devin, let me show you real quick. Okay. We need 3,000, right? You can replace 2 zeros with the words hundreds. This is 100, right? So this is what you do. How many hundreds do you need?
30.
30, do you see? Macy's, that makes sense? 30 hundreds. Okay, so I'm gonna do 100 bucks times 30. Todd, how many hundreds do you need to make 6,400? Okay, Todd. Nope, I'm gonna show you just like I did. Devin, okay, watch. This is what we need to get to, right? Oh. Nope, look up here. You don't need to write right now. Okay, we need to get 6,400 with hundreds, okay? So hundreds, 100 has 2 zeros in it, right? The number 100. That means that we can replace 2 zeros with this. So watch what I'm gonna do, Todd. I'm gonna take these 2 zeros, cross them out, and make that into the word hundreds. So how many hundreds do we need?
64.
Does that make sense? 64 of the hundreds. Okay. Now, how many hundreds do we need to make 9,000? Ari?
90.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. How many hundreds do we need to make 9,900? Mary? 99. Draw, the last question says draw a sketch to represent 10,000 using 10 by 10 grids. Be sure to clearly label each group of 1,000. So, how many of these would it take to make 10,000? Autrey? We got to get to 10. 100 of them. It would be 100. So, I don't want to draw 100 boxes. I don't want you to have to draw 100 boxes. So here's what we're going to do. Do you see where it says be sure to clearly label each group of 1,000?
Yeah.
Here's what we're going to do. Draw 1, 2, 3, 4. I've started too far over. Hold on. Okay, hold on. We're going to do 2 groups of 5. 1, Geraldo, write this. 2, 3, 4, 5. And each one is times 10. So that would be 1,000. So 100 times 10 is 1,000. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. But we have to get to 10,000. So what do we need to do? Fisher?
Times.
Do it again one more time. So that exact thing. So I'm going to go times 10. Times 10. Times 10. Times 10. Okay. So 100 times 10 equals 1,000. Or, sorry.
10,000.
Yeah, it's got to be 1,000, not 100. Hang on. 1,000 times 10 equals 10,000. So you don't have to do this, but this is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. So each one of those circles represents 1,000. And I remember years ago, I saw on a test a question, and you guys know my favorite subject's always been math since like first grade. Since my first grade teacher handed me 5 little red counting circles. Okay? Since my first grade teacher handed me 5 little, which this is 4, she handed me 5 little red counters. And I was like, best day ever. Little first grade self. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so cool. Because back when I was in school, we didn't have this kind of thing. So we were doing good to have 5 little plastic counters. And but I remember on a test one time, there was a question that asked how many tens it would take to make some big, huge number. And I was super stressed by it because I'm like, I'm on a time limit here. I don't have time to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, counting up to like 300,000 or something, you know? And so when I started teaching math, I realized how you can replace 10 with the word 10 because the number 10 has 10 in it, right? And so if you were trying to make 300,000 using only these little tiny tens, it would take 30,000 tens. Okay, so just kind of something cool. You with me? If you, okay, so the comma has to move because I crossed off a 0. So it started out to be 300,000, and I know that tens, the number 10, has 10 in it, right? So I can cross out 10 and turn that into the word tens. So it takes 30,000 tens to make 300,000. Zerelda?
I noticed something.
What?
When you take out a 0, there has to be at least 3 number behind the comma.
Exactly. That's why I had to move that comma, right? You're right. Good catch, Colton.
Did you pass the test?
I'm sure I did because I'm here right now. And it was just one. It was kind of like a map test type thing. So I probably did not get that question right because I probably just had to guess. But another thing that I want to point out to you real quick is I wrote 1,000 times 10, right? And I've shown you this before, Evan. If you're trying to multiply big numbers together that have zeros, multiply the numbers that don't have the zeros. So watch. Jackson, 1 times 1 is what? 1. And then how many zeros do you see there? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then plug in your comma. Okay? All right.